Howdy folks, welcome back to another weird little installment of making a dumb little Fakemon region thing. Last episode we did the starters, early bug, bird and rodent thing, and explained the kind of premise of this series where instead of specifically making a hypothetical Gen 9, or is it 10? It's 9 I think, yeah. Yeah, instead of making a hypothetical Gen 9, this is kind of my own, if I was given the ability, if I had the ability I should say, to make my own Pokemon-like game, what would the dex be? So, that's the idea. I then went on to explain that these are not using regular Pokemon design, I guess, sort of rules, because there are rules to designing Pokemon to make them more Pokemon-like, and these arguably do not follow those rules at all. This is a very quote-unquote original thing without, without priding myself on it, because, well, they're very weird, you'll soon see. But anyway, so last episode, like I already mentioned, we did starters and the early bird, bug, and rodent. You know, they're typical standards for every quote-unquote Fakemon region. I did have a bunch I was also going to show as just other early route Pokemon, because some of my favourite Pokemon in every regular generation aren't the typical rodent, bird, or bug, but the other kind of early route ones, such as Nidoran in Red and Blue, or Mankey in the remakes, and then Surskit in Ruby and Sapphire, or Shinx in Diamond and Pearl. I like them because, well, every generation has those other early route Pokemon, but at the same time, you never really know what you're going to get. There's not a specific rule set to them like the previous ones, such as the bird, bugs, and rodents typically have rules what they always go by, where the rodent typically only evolves once, the bird is more than likely to only evolve once, the bug type will always have, like, low-level types, and then it will always evolve into a cocoon, and then a bigger flying bug or whatever. But the other early route Pokemon, they don't go by that, so it's a lot more exciting to me. So that's why I decided to do this episode. I already did these. They were meant to be in the last episode, but since last episode was taking too long, I just decided to put it in this one. So this is a bunch of other early route Pokemon, despite me not even having a map ready yet. I've got a basic idea of where you'd start, so what would count as early routes, but either way. So all of these monsters, I'm calling them Sidlemon, I guess, are basically just meant to be weird and wacky and show off what else you can expect from this region. Last time I spent like 5 minutes just talking about the intro, so let's skip all that and get straight to the weird little Fakemon I did. So let's start with Charbon. I'm actually really proud of its name, because it's Char, because it's charcoal, it's a coal rabbit, Bun, because of Bunny Rabbit, and Charbon, carbon, it's coal, yeah? Yeah? You with me? Yeah, forget it. You'll also notice it's also typeless, because again, I'm not sure whether to make it rock, because typically rock would be strong to fire, but it's coal, so I'm not sure if I want to make a new mineral type, or charcoal type, or whatever, but like I said, we'll figure it out as we go along. Also, its sprite, it does look a little bit jagged. I tried to make its body look like a lump of coal. I think its tail looked a lot better, but it looks a bit jagged. It's not because I'm a terrible sprite artist entirely, it's just because it's meant to look jagged. Okay? Okay. It's even got charred little whiskers, I forgot about that. I hadn't seen them in a while. Like I said, I drew most of these a while ago. But anyway, so they're known to live and burrow near mines and usually cause grief to miners, as, like how a regular rabbit, a household rabbit would chew on wires, well, these rabbits are known to chew on minerals, sometimes valuable ones, and they can even sabotage mining equipment. I mentioned last episode that I can imagine the play starting off in a mining town, and instead of a forest, you go for a cave to start off the game, or the region, or whatever. So I can imagine a bunch of carbon, living outside or inside, just chewing up pickaxes and eating gold. I've also added a little bit of lore that says a few hundred years ago, carbon used to be bright blue, and it wasn't until the start of oil production is when they started turning into a burnt black. So yeah, this is just a little rabbit, what I thought. Well, most rabbits are albino? Albino, yeah, which are white, but this is the opposite. It's a black coal rabbit, so I like that idea. Plus, when looking for Australian things, because I guess we're still in that area where all of these Fakemon are based off something Australian, I was doing some Australian research, and I realised it's got incredible high coal production, so I had to do some coal stuff in there somewhere, and I was doing some... What I would normally do is I'd go through Google Translate and find out what words mean other words, and I found in French, coal means carbon, so I got the idea of charbon, and this came out of it basically. And plus, there's always this idea that France is, or Paris, is meant to be like the city of love, so I imagined Charbon in this France area is meant, they're all beautiful and bright and shiny, but in the Australian one, because of all the coal production and everything, because rabbits are an invasive species to Australia, I believe, anyway. So when they came in from somewhere else, they weren't used to all the coal, and they just turned black. That's kind of the idea there. That's the law, I suppose. Now, I have been told by pretty much everyone who I've ever spoken to that I waffle a lot, and sometimes I kind of ramble on about designs what might not even make sense. So if it doesn't, feel free to let me know. Again, I do just ramble a lot, so most of these things might not even make sense, but they do to me. I put a lot of thought in these either way, whether they make sense or not. But still, so that's charming. And next we have another bug type, Caterpillar. Now this one's based off just childhood stories. I guess this is where I stopped planning on Australian type monsters and just went for general cartoony ideas. Just that, you know. So Caterpillar was based off a bunch of like the kiddie stories I'd read when I was younger. Obviously, I don't know if this goes for anyone outside of Britain, but I remember reading a story about the very hungry caterpillar. What was just about a caterpillar would eat and eat and eat until it was like huge. I think I haven't read it since I was little, so I wouldn't know. But either way, he's got a little head crest, like a little baby bonnet. He's got a cute little kiddie smile, and he's got a bunch of really high saturated colours. What you'd imagine in a little kid's book to get the kids' attention. So you just stare at it for ages whilst your parents read it to you. That's the kind of idea. Now this is also where I started to get a kind of general theme for every single monster, because every single Dex, Fakemon or not, typically enjoys having a concept what every single Pokemon can revolve around. Now, arguably, I haven't found that solid one yet, so when I do find a genuine good one after I've drawn all of them, I'm probably going to have to go back and edit them all to fit it anyway. But either way, this is when I started having the idea of each area kind of just popping out, right? I like the idea that no matter what area you are in this hypothetical region, there's always a bunch of creatures just bopping around doing their thing. And Caterpillar was kind of what helped inspire that to me. Because, you know, I don't know if it's easy to tell on the sprite, but he enjoys bopping around. Everywhere he goes, he always bops around to do his own little tune. And that's where it kind of hit me that, yeah, I do want to make this Fakemon region inspired just by this whole cartoon world and that whole general concept. Of instead of it specifically being about pocket monsters, pocket cartoons. Poker-toons, I guess. Well, that's what you think now, isn't it? But yeah, that's when I started this idea that instead of it being capturable monsters, despite me already calling them monsters, they're cartoons. And Caterpillar helped, you know, each area feels like a cartoon or like a musical. Does that sound weird? I hope it doesn't. But either way, that's kind of the whole theme I'm going with now. And I probably should have told you that to begin with, but I guess I'll explain it to you as I discovered it myself. So, starting that. From now on, every creature's specifically a cartoon. I've already said that before though, so either way. So yeah, sorry, this is Caterpillar, the cute little baby bug what just bops around tree branches. In most towns, it's got a different name, the happy bug, as their skin secretes this weird little oil. What I guess when you rub it on yourself, it makes you happy. It makes people smile. You can't force them to, however. Their cries are meant to be extremely loud and are known to shatter glass even within an 18-mile radius. So, they're happy, make sure you keep them happy, is all we're saying, right? You don't want to make a baby cry. I suppose this one follows the more traditional early root bug, as Considy is already a ladybug, and most early root bugs typically revolve around it starting with a larva, evolving into a cocoon, and then evolving into a flying bug. However, Considy is already the finished bug. It's already out of the larva stage. So, I guess Caterpillar will follow that a bit more as well, as it is a kiddie caterpillar. So, now let's change our focus from the baby-focused Pokemon to the teenager-focused Pokemon, so to speak. Now, this is Stoom, the mushroom type Sidlemon. Sidlemon? That is the word I'm going for now, isn't it? Yes. Now, this Fakemon, can't make mind of what I'm calling them. Either way, this guy was drawn years ago, way before I even started this region. For those who know my channel, the region, the same, because I've been drawing Fakey-Dexes. The Fakey-Dexes, a full Pokedex of all these Fakemon. I've been doing them for years, and one of them had just a red little mushroom guy, red-eyed, very happy, let's say. I thought it was funny when I drew it, I guess. But this was where I chose to do a very simplistic kind of style. This is also the same style I drew the Candle, Crab and Pumpkin. For those who have seen my previous videos, that will make sense to you. If not, I do apologise. But either way, I decided to remake him, remake a couple of old designs, and just bring new life to them, because why not? I thought the designs were worth it, so I did. Plus remember, we're meant to encapsulate the whole world in this region, and something tells me at least a large portion of the world is familiar with Stoom. Let's just say that. Now, I want his typing to be Grass and Psychic, but it might be annoying to say this, but I'm not ready to commit to a Psychic type just yet. I'm sure I will eventually, but at this point, I'm just going to keep it plain Grass. So yeah, this is Stoom. He doesn't really enjoy fighting, he just wants to chill. He's got a lot of defense and HP. He's fine with taking beatings, he'll just sit there and he'll let it all out, man. You know, just let it all out. Chill out. Let all your anger out on him. You know, he's fine with it, he don't care. As long as he's got a pack of crisps, or chips, depending on where you're from, you know. He's sorted. Look at him. His sprite kind of looks like he's patting his belly, kind of. That's what I was going for. He's got a little cap as well, so... He's just chilling. He don't really care about fighting. He just likes to sit around all day and eat, stare at the sun, you know. Just chill out, man. Just chill. Anyway, another grass type is Chivine. We got a fair few grass types here. I hope that's fine. I even say these are early root. There might even not be. I might change it at some point, but either way, we got a couple more grass types to go through. So we have Chivine, the grass parrot. Now, Chivine's got a little bit of a gimmick, well, again, I won't spoil into a later episode. But what you gotta know about him is that, well, he was raised in the jungles, and he loves jungles. Although, realistically, I guess in this region, you'll probably find him in forests instead. Unless I do add a jungle. Who knows? I probably will. Anyway, so this whole design is meant to just encapsulate, I believe the gimmick was Amazonian forests, rainforests specifically. It has these loose little vines growing on him. He's got bright orange feet, a typical trope what you can imagine a rainforest fox to be having. He's got green flappy wings. I guess that's just a regular parrot thing. I gave him a specific grey stone-like beak to just look like a pebble, I guess. A kind of, you know, unkept, kind of viney hair, because, you know, he plays by his own rules. He's even got this weird little cacti tail, because, fun fact, rainforests do have cacti. Not the kind of desert cacti, but still. So, this is just a jungle bird, basically. His name is Chivine, because Chi, meaning chick, it's baby parrot. I thought it'd be like parrotlet, or like just a, I don't know, something different than chick, but no. So chick and vine. Chivine. Simple. Going from a grass parrot to a grass snake. The second to last grass type, so bear with. This is Snatrix, the grass snake. Grass snake is a literal species of snake, so my smart brain idea was just, well, grass snake. Done. All jokes aside though, I always like the idea of having a snake character. This isn't even specifically for the Fakemon, this is just as a character. I like the idea of a snake having like two tails, what it could like twizzle around, like using its, because snakes can shed their skin, right? So I always like the idea of them shedding their skin, what gives themselves a second tail to just kind of wave around and do fun stuff with. So as a grass snake, I kind of took that to the next level where it's not exactly its shedded skin, it's more so a, you know, a grass blade, because, you know, it's a grass snake. But I like the idea that the older the snake gets, the more powerful the grass blade gets. So it's implied that although it is a sharp blade of grass, the Snatrix's dead skin cells kind of embed themselves in the blade of grass, what stiffens it up and makes it more powerful. So yeah, and it's got a little leaf because grass snake. I'm going to mention again that I wanted to give it another type, but I don't want to commit to it. I want to make this a poison type as well because, well, it's a snake, and although grass snakes themselves are not poisonous, most snakes are, and I wanted to combine that idea because it's also somewhat inspired by Indian snakes, and I don't know if it's a thing where snakes aren't poisonous, well, they're venomous to begin with, but I don't know if it's like a cobra snakes or more, or whatever. Either way, a species of Indian snake helped inspire Snatrix, so I wanted to make it poison type as well. The reason I don't want to commit to a poison type just yet is, well, although the next one is also going to be a grass and poison, there is one type of Pokemon what I'll probably do next episode where I'm a little skeptical whether or not I should do it a poison type or not. Therefore, it's stopping me from making poison type as a whole. I do apologise, but I'm sure you'll see. Speaking of that next grass and poison type though, Chameleon. What a weird little guy. Now this is a kind of trend what isn't a specific Pokemon trend, but I do like the idea of it. A pseudo starter trio. Just 3 early root Pokemon, what are the same types of starters, what just let you, if you want a fire type but you chose the water starter, well, there's an early fire type you can get, and vice versa. So even though there's plenty of grass types already, I'm going to add a few more fire types and water types eventually as well, I just like the idea of there being an incredible wide range of types when you start, and always have just loads of types and loads of variety. I love variety. What can I say? So let's start with the pseudo grass type Chameleon, the Sham Watermelon. Simple. Now Chameleon are very similar to Voltorb, except their speed. They're incredible slow, and what they do is they just sit in watermelon farms just chilling. In fact, when they're dormant, the idea is it's almost impossible to tell whether or not it's an actual watermelon or a Chameleon. Now, although it does look cute and smiley, the inside of it isn't actual red watermelon juice, it's an actual very acidic venom. Or I guess in this case it would be poison, because for those who don't know, the difference between venomous and poison is, if it's venomous, it's biting you. If it's poisonous, you're the one making contact with it. And Chameleon, it ain't biting anyone, it just kind of lays on its side, looking like a watermelon with like a wedge taken out of it, and it just lays dormant for hours in the sun. It's to trick other insects to fly into it, which it will quickly be digested in the acidics insides, basically. It said if a human hand was to ever be dipped in it, or if a Chameleon was to ever bite a human, its skin would forever be tainted red. It wouldn't specifically hurt the human, not after the first few hours of being bitten, however, but its skin would just be forever tainted red. Where have I heard that before? Either way. So that's Chameleon, the cute little watermelon. I like the idea of its seeds being eyes. I haven't really seen that before. Not tooting my own horn or anything, pleading now. But yeah, that's Chameleon, the Voltorb of the forest, let's say. So now let's go to the pseudo fire type starter, Froxy. No Vulpix comments, okay? It's just a basic Firefox. We'll leave it there. This was also partially inspired by Carbon. I created Carbon first, and, well, I don't know what came first, the idea of a fire predator or the fox idea, but if you've got a coal rabbit, you need a fire fox to chase it down, surely, right? But anyway, this is Froxy, a young fox creature, obviously. Their fur is constantly warm. Because of this, they're common pets in colder parts of the region, or even colder countries in general, and they're known to even spark embers when too excited. So if you live in a log cabin, just keep it calm. They're not too common in like cities or rural areas, however, if one is spotted, it's meant to be checked as a good omen for weather. This may be presumably as Froxies are known to spend up to 16 hours a day just bathing in the sunlight. Keep in mind that's just sunbathing in the sunlight. They typically prefer to spend all of their day in the sunlight. They have very sensitive whiskers, what can sense the air density and can essentially predict the weather. So if you see one in the city, well, it's more than likely it predicts good sun over the city, so it's choosing to rest there for a bit and wait for the sun to go over it. So it's a sign of good weather. Hooray. It's also very intelligent, and it's closest thing to a dog in this universe, I suppose, right? Where they're always there to help out and can even tell the weather. And it's a firefox. How neat. I wonder what its evolution may be. And now we've got the last of the pseudo-water trio, the water one, Frillyling, the water bird. I'm saying this now, I love water birds, I love ducks, swans, geese, and everything in between, so expect a lot more similar things. Although I believe the inspiration for this design started with the Spinosaurus, as it was a water-dwelling dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs evolved into what we call now birds. So I guess this is the idea that this Frillyling's previous ancestors was a giant Spinosaurus-like monster, so I thought that was funny. But anyway, we have Frillyling, the water bird. What isn't a flying type yet, because I'm not committing to a flying type. Plus, it can't fly yet, because it's only got little flappy water wings. It prefers to stay in the body of water it was born in until it's big enough to fly away. So think of it like a bird's nest, how the chicks won't stay in the nest until they're big enough to fly away on their own. It's like that, except Frillylings are usually born in ponds, forest ponds, and they won't fly away until they're old enough to do so. The head frill is extremely durable, even at a young age, and they're known to creep up on swimmers and pounce on them. The best way to tell if one is nearby is by their frill. I guess it's a similar thing to Confuzzle, where how Confuzzle enjoys confusing people for fun, Frillyling likes scaring people for fun. I also like to think of it as it'll usually be swimming around in ponds like a duck, except its body will be fully underwater, and all you can see is the frill. So think of it as a literal underwater duck. I thought that was funny. Fun, weird little fact. Completely designed on a whim. Because when, if I'm going to break the fourth wall for a sec, when I was designing this monster, I definitely wanted the idea of there being a Spinosaurus frill, because I love Spinosaurus. But when designing, I drew the body and then the frill on it, and as a whim, I think I just drew a neck. I think I was meant to be drawing a leg, but it looked more like a neck, and then I realised, oh my god, instead of that being the body, it should be the head. And that's how I created Freelyling, and I love it. Like I said, I love water ducks, water birds even, and I like Freeling's colours. And, I don't know, I hope you do too. But either way, so yeah, that's all 7 monsters we did this episode, which is kind of fun. A lot of grass types, starters, bugs, and another bird, and a coal rabbit. But that was episode 7, so that's most of the early route Pokemon. Next episode we've got, I think, 12 to do before it's time to start drawing original ones, and I don't know if I can fit them all in one episode or not, but either way, I guess we'll see. Just like last time, I hope me explaining them was slightly better. If not, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm definitely a better writer about these things than saying them. You should probably expect me to write a script. You know what? I'll probably do that next time. But still, you know, comment down. What's your favourite? What's your least favourite? Would you catch them? Would you abandon them? Do you have any pointers? Do you have any tips and tricks? You know, I'll definitely admit, since it is just one guy doing this, and as I mentioned earlier, I've been said I'm pretty bad at explaining things. Or at least my ways to explain things are a little bit weird. So if you've got any better ideas, or if you just want to say mine suck, please feel free to do so. I'll appreciate it regardless. But either way, if you got this far, thanks for watching. Any feedback is appreciated, but if not, just watching is good enough. And cheers! If you're off to bed, sweet dreams, and if not, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye!